snide comments. But here's the last thing I want to say, and I think it's really important. I'm part of the problem, or so somebody said. So that was a comment which somebody made quite a while ago and didn't think too much of it, just kind of overlooked it. And then it came back again, and it did make me think, every now and again you do kind of get these negative comments on YouTube. It's just the nature, the way things are. Most of the comments which I get are very positive, and I really do appreciate everybody commenting. But this one kept coming back, and it kind of frustrated me, because kind of what they were saying is, I'm part of the problem because I talk about vans such as this, which is a van review which is coming next week. A very, very nice van. I do talk about these vans, and because I'm talking about the vans, I'm promoting the vans, I'm telling people to buy the vans, which I'm not. Then because of that, then I'm actually part of the problem. Is that really what I'm doing though? Well, to be completely honest with you, I kind of get the point, because let's face it, none of these vans are cheap anymore. The prices of vans are now just astronomical. A brand new transporter is pretty much double what it was, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. But the same goes for the Transits and the Mercedes and all these other vans. The base vehicles themselves have gone up, horrendous amounts of money, which by the time it means when you've added a conversion on top of it, brand new campervans these days are like 70, 80, 90 grand. And that does put it out of reach for a hell of a lot of people. So me talking about them, they're saying that I'm part of the problem because I'm just trying to normalise it. But that isn't what I'm doing. And I do get it, the fact that I'm talking about them and I'm showing them people and showing people that they can, this is kind of what you can have. But then they go to actually buy them and they're out of reach for them. Then they're saying that's my fault, which I don't think it is. And to be quite honest with you, I'll completely argue the opposite. But here's the thing, the actual point about what I'm trying to make here, and that is, I'm not here to review campervans to sell them. I'm not here to talk about them so I can earn a commission or an incentive or anything like that. And I've talked about this previously before to the actual manufacturers themselves. I don't want to do any of that. I want to be completely impartial. If I find a fault, if I find a problem, I want to be able to say, I don't like that, without that, nagging thing in my mind, I shouldn't say that because I'm being paid to do this, because I'm not being paid to do it. I've found stuff with this, which you'll find out next week, which I don't like it. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'd prefer it to be done a different way. I'm bringing information to you so people don't make mistakes. People have gone through Instagram and Facebook and they've seen these lovely vans and they've been sucked in, and they've gone to a campervan person and they've actually been sold a van by somebody who's very, very good at sales, but not actually very good at campervans. And people can make mistakes. And it's that aspect of it which is where I'm coming from. I want people to understand, and I want people to know why, for instance, that pop-top is probably the best pop-top roof which you can get. It is an electric Reimo pop-top roof. It's got a sprung mattress, and it's got a mattress on top of that. It's got the vent in the front, which it should have. It's really, really stable at high winds, as I found out last night. But that obviously costs a lot of money. So if you're comparing a van with that Reimo electric pop-top to some, I'm not going to name any, but some, let's say, cheaper brands, which might not be crash tested, they might not have the heavy duty canvas, they might not have a scenic canvas, they might not have the vent at the top, they might not have that sprung mattress, it might just be a bedboard. If you're comparing that to that, then they aren't the same. Now, there might not be anything wrong with the cheaper pop-top bed, like literally nothing wrong with it at all. It might be absolutely spot on. But the point of the matter is, that's an £8,000 pop-top, and that other pop-top might be a £2,500, £3,000 pop-top. And that's the difference. You want to make sure that you're paying the right money for the right product. So I'm just kind of showing you what's available, and then you can make up your minds. I've slept in pop-tops which are on the cheap side. Nothing wrong with them. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. And if you pay the right money for them, then what's the problem? There isn't a problem with that. But it's about people understanding that, because people can make mistakes, and I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen time and time again. People have said it to me. I've had manufacturers, campervan converters ring me up. Oh, Steve, we just had this customer, they'd had a Exa conversion in and they wanted X amount of money for it. Like laughing because they'd paid way too much of it in the first place and it was asking awful money. And when I say laughing, that laughing is in, they couldn't believe it, that kind of money which you were asking. And it's that kind of situation which we want to try and avoid. We want people to be paying the right money for the right van. Because a lot of these vans are great vans, whether it is a budget van. But if you bought a budget van, you need to be paying a budget price and you need to understand that what that van is what that van is. I'm not saying, look at this amazing van, isn't it brilliant, go and buy it. I'm saying, look at this amazing van, look at these amazing features, but I don't like that. And that is probably not the best, but that is the top end component. But actually I'd replace that with that. This is what you need to know before you part with your money. And I'm actually thinking about doing a specific video as far as that's concerned. So if that is something which you would be interested in, knowing a bit more about the componentry and kind of different price levels of certain aspects, then that is something which I am going to be doing over a long period. And maybe I should just kind of condense it into one video with some pointers. Like I've said, this very van is going to be on my channel next week, and it's got a lot of expensive components in it. And it's those expensive components which can make the price which is going to be asked for this van more than you might think if you was just to look at it on paper. I've seen another van. I've been talking to somebody else this morning and they were showing me, images and a kind of a description of another van. And they're not on the same level as, components are concerned, but they're also not on the same level as price is concerned. So if somebody's looking at, well, actually I can go and buy that van for 10 grand less, it might be a good deal. But actually, are there better components in this? I mean, you might be able to see one from here which is kind of glaring us in the face, which you guarantee, well, in fact it didn't. That other van didn't have it, and that's nearly the price difference in itself. I want to address something else. A few comments, actually a few snide comments, which I've had not only on the actual channel itself, but also to my face. And that is, you don't own a camper van. How can you have a YouTube campervan channel? Well, for a start, I've never not had a camper van. I just didn't show it on the channel. The £1,000 budget van. Let's not go there because that £1,000 is escalating rapidly, but I will give an update on that soon. But that one kind of really did frustrate me because for nearly 50 years now, I've been into this outdoor lifestyle. I went on my first camping trip when I was still in nappies. I went in tents. I had campervans, caravans, motorhomes. I'd just done it all in the last 50 years. I was in the Cub Scouts. Yeah, Cubs and the Scouts. I was sleeping in tents, which were just the canvas type sheets. There was no ground sheets there, and all the insects in the morning were crawling over you. And that's kind of where all this love has come from. And that has been for, like I said, nearly 50 years. We used to go on holidays to Scotland and Wales and all over the UK. Every single year, I think we went down to Sandbanks. And that is where I saw my first VW Beetle, or the first one which I remember. And I can still picture it now. That was where it all came from. And also my first transporter, the bay window. That is where all that love came from. But that's nearly 50 years of campervans and the outdoor lifestyle. 50 years of waking up somewhere which isn't your house. Waking up to different views, different weather climates, different beaches, different woodlands, different forests. 50 years of that outdoor lifestyle. So to say that I can't have a campervan channel because I've not currently got a campervan when I actually did, it's just ridiculous. But here's the last thing I want to say, and I think it's really important. Campervanning isn't really about the van. I mean, it is because obviously it does give us that ability to be able to get out to places like where I am now. But if you talk to anybody who's been doing this for, any kind of length of time, and you ask them what the best bit is about the campervan lifestyle, I don't think anybody's going to tell you, oh, it's my solar panel, or it's my fridge, it's my VBA suspension, or, whatever, anything like that. It might be a Kadak, to be honest with you. They are quite useful. But in all honesty, joking aside, nobody's going to say any of that. But they might tell you the amazing places that they've been to, like I am here today. This really is amazing. You know, they'll tell you it's the people they've met. And trust me, I have met some amazing people by doing this. Some people who've changed my life forever. And that's what you get with this lifestyle. You know, I am down here now in kind of the Land's End area, and I've stayed overnight. And last night I met out with Neil from that.Out community. Now, he created a group and obviously festivals and things like that. But all those people who go there, they're going for the experience. It doesn't matter what campervan they're driving. It doesn't matter what they're turning up in. Nobody really cares. There might be a little bit of jealousy here and there when somebody's got a better van than them, a newer van. But you'll see at these events that it's just people talking, having a laugh, sharing their experiences, talking about places they've been to. You know, talking about beaches. Oh, you should go and see this. I am going to be telling people I have been here today, and I'm going to be telling people that they have to come here, because I've just sat here, just taking in this experience. It is incredible. Now, that.Out might not be for you. You know, you might just want to be part of some of the local groups. I mean, local to me, we've got Devon and Cornwall Transporters. There's various other groups throughout the country. The Camper Club. You know, the Camper Club is not a VW. It is anything. Anybody can be on there. You know, these Facebook groups, and there's people on there who are so friendly, helpful. There's people who are solo campers, and they're just out there to be meeting new people. You know, there's people who have these groups, campervan groups, and they talk about dogs. But there's one, and there's a chicken. Like, somebody took a chicken to one of these events. And it's conversation starters. People enjoy it. People are here for the lifestyle. You know, we're not here long. You know, we've got to make the most of it while we can. And that's why I'm here today. And I'll show you more of this in not next week's video, the video afterwards. You might have noticed, or you might not be able to see, that I've got into my swim shorts because I'm going to go for a swim. So, do you think I'm part of the problem? Or do you think I am just here just to show you what's available? I personally don't think I am part of the problem. Tell me if I'm wrong. But all I'm doing is showing you what's available. And I'm going to be showing you lots more used vans coming up in the future. I'll be showing you the vans, no fluff, just showing you, telling you exactly how it is. What I think, what I personally think is good, and what I think might not be so good. So do let me know in the comments, you know, what you think. What do you like to see? What experiences have you had? And what places do you want to go? And I might be naming some of them in a video, like I say, coming up in 2 weeks' time. Because that video is not going to be in a new camper van. It's going to be in an old one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. Take care, and I hope to see you soon.